Okay, hi everyone. Okay, today's video is about this unfortunate thing that is going on again in the United States. And this is from the perspective of a person who, I don't know how to really put this, because I don't like the word spiritual, but this is more of a evolved human consciousness perspective. And also, of course, obviously, it is a perspective, the perspective of someone who, or better said, it doesn't have to do with that, but of course, you will judge me for that. That's what I mean, because that's what we do as humans, we judge people. And I'm not one for judgment, because again, that's something I've evolved from, but of course, sometimes I will take something for granted due to some expression of the person or the context of cultural context or whatever it is that is going on, that the person immediately calls for to my eyes, I guess, something like that. Okay, what I mean by this is obviously I'm mixed, but the reason why I'm doing this video, making this video, has really nothing to do with that. I'm a very conscious person, so of course I have a subconscious layer like all of us humans do, and that serves a purpose. That's not an engineering mistake. We're supposed to have these layers of consciousness, but yeah, I'm very, very in tune with my consciousness, so that has nothing to do with the fact that my opinions on all of this have more to do with spiritual reasons than to my ethnicity and cultural background. The idea for this video and this message that I want to pass through, which truly is what it is about, came after reading the article posted a day ago on Teal's blog on this subject. So I'm Portuguese. I'm mixed. I was born in Angola, Africa, Austral Africa. I grew up here since I was a baby, so I'm Portuguese. Obviously, this is the culture I know and identify with. But I follow the news and the media like not really much, because I avoid the news anyways these days quite a lot. But of course, I'm not an educated person. I'm a very well educated person actually, and we all know what's been going on in the United States, and the most recent, unfortunate again, things that are going on there, with in this case the homicide. That's how I sort of see it, I guess, of this black citizen through the hands of at least one that I know of policeman. And I have to make this side note. I'm a very sensible person in nature, so I vibrate at a higher rate. I have this very distinct or unique, not unique like I'm the unique, but not that I'm, yeah, it's kind of special, I guess, but I'm not the only one, but it's kind of unique, yeah, trait to my energy. And of course, this way of expressing myself comes from all of my almost 40-year-old background. No, not in spirituality, but the way I've evolved in terms of life experience through my spirituality. That's what I mean. And this being said, yeah, I'm very sensitive. There's even this HSP saying, name sort of for this, which stands for highly sensitive person. And I'm of the crystal kind, for those of you who understand what I'm talking about. If not, and you're curious about what I'm saying, just check for it, just search it. But anyway, it's not that, it's not important. That what I'm trying to say with this, and in more practical terms, is that I've always been a very sensitive person in all forms, and watching those kind of content, very visual, graphic, and even if visual is not that maybe, I don't know, gore, if you will, or violent or whatever, it still is psychologically violent, emotionally violent, and I feel that in a very special manner. That's what I'm trying to say. So unfortunately, I watched the images, the footage, or the video, and what can I say? It's this big collective shadow expressed in some through some people, some individuals that serve this agenda. I don't know, that are they're themselves are victims. So I'm already starting this video with some of you would probably see as a controversial, I guess, and you might as well be already thinking, oh, what does she know? She's not here. Yeah, she might be mixed and everything, but she's not a Black American citizen. Yes, I'm not a Black American citizen, and even more than that, I would say, to my defense, even though I don't feel like I have to defend myself at all, but I would say that I never experienced true racism in my life. I have experienced what I consider more of a detriment, prejudicial and ignorant discrimination, some sort of not even discrimination, just people expressing to me their ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I don't mean this in any mean way or depreciative way. I just mean this as people who don't know much, who don't have that much culture. Sometimes it's not even their fault. It's just lack of culture and proper education, and of course lack of some humanity as well, and seeing the big picture and connecting to one another and feeling like others are part of ourselves, which for me is the main thing behind this all, the collective shadow of me feeling as different from you and different, but we'll get there in this video soon enough. So yeah, I never really felt, but I had this, the little bit of discrimination here and there, and judgments, if you will, and ignorance being thrown at me, sort of speaking, by people, because I even though I'm in this I grew up in this state neighborhood. I never, and there's this Black community here as well, and Gypsy community, but I never hang out really with any Black folks from my age, kids, back then, when all this ignorance was somehow, I've been experiencing it myself personally. It was just about the hair and people asking me if or getting admired. Oh, your father's white, that kind of thing. Or people getting admired, surprised because I didn't have any African accent, things like that, and but nothing much, not much. But I sort of felt it. I hated my hair for many years. I never assumed it. Yeah, it took me quite a while. So it hit me in a way, but not, I can't really say, because I really truly don't feel I've ever felt very, very bad, like in a traumatic sort of manner, or in a manner that would be really detrimental to my life, to my life experience. Racism, I can't say I did, but yeah, I had these things. Oh, can you dance African, this type of African dance, and this and that. Stupid things, really, ignorant things, but they were never really true racism. This being said, I have an ex-partner of mine that he's darker than me, and I don't know if I already said that I was born in Angola, Austral Africa, from the mother side, and he was darker than me. Oh, this light, I don't know what to do about it. Pardon. Yeah, and he lived in the United States actually for many years, and he, on the other hand, told me many times that racism, or I could tell that racism was something more meaningful to him than for me. And mind me, just disclaimer here. There's racism everywhere, so of course there is racism, like true racism, in Portugal as well. But like I said, I never really experienced it. Also, the way I am, I grew up with many insecurity issues and traumas, and yeah, personal childish traumas and things like that. But one thing I never was too I don't know how to put it. I was completely aware of my ethnicity and African black background. But it was never a problem. It was never something that I would feel ashamed within myself, It was just normal. It was just, okay, I'm mixed. Okay, I grew up with that acknowledgement at home, and it would be just regular to talk about it, to understand it. And it was just normal thing for me. It was never an issue in and of itself, So that's why I say that I don't know racism, true racism, And also, I know it exists, of course, I know it's real, but in my personal life, I never really felt it. More than those ignorant episodes I just told you about. Yeah. But yeah, my ex-partner, on the other hand, he felt it. He would feel it. He would talk about it. Either in America, also being a foreigner, being I guess you can call it a immigrant there, and here as well, he would say to me, many times that he would feel racism and like security people checking on him on groceries and on malls or these places, things like that. But let's move on from that. The real issue here, or what I want to address. I don't know. I'll try to move this again, so maybe this is not, maybe it's better like this. But what I want to address right now truly is this paradigm, this thing that is going on the United States, as we all know of, even in Portugal and around the world, we know of this issue, this racism issue. And this ex-partner of mine, he would tell me that we don't understand the United States, because we, at least many folks here in Portugal, including myself, we have this bad idea on bad image from the United States. Me personally, there's a lot of things I enjoy or I find interesting, or I relate to in some way from the American culture. And I'm not even talking about the movies or Hollywood or anything like that, but some things. One of my favorite bands, Electric Six, is an American band. So probably my favorite band on Earth. It's an American band, North American band, Michigan. So but this being said, this is like everything in this world. There are things there are always these cliches, and one thing that always popped a lot here in Portugal is the government, of course, the politics and all that kind of thing. Besides the fast food and the lifestyle, the not that healthy lifestyle in general, or besides all the fuss around celebrity and Hollywood and all of that, truth is, the politics that what we know of from the media and all of that, we don't truly identify with it at all. And now the entire world doesn't, because of Donald Trump. So, aside from when Barack Obama was there as a chief of your government, I'm going to be talking for you directly, but I hope many other nations or people from other nations will watch my video, because it's a very simple message, but I believe it's important to pass it through. I really feel like it's important. So, like I was saying, now the entire world see what we always saw, the politics on the United States. But my partner would say, you really don't understand. You really don't understand you can understand. It's a very big country. There's the history of it. You don't understand. You don't know the history. You don't understand because he had to study. He studied there, so he had to know the history of the country. And I agree with him. Of course, I don't know all of those historical details, so to speaking, but I know enough to have at least an opinion on this specific topic, of racism in the United States in particular, but not just in the United States, but in particular, of course, because that's what pops out more on the news because of all this Black Lives Matter movement and what the police is doing by going on killing, black citizens. So what I know of is that even though again I don't know the history, like the details on American history, of course, I never learned it, never studied, but I know enough. And what I know is it's the root of it all, which is slavery, which is going on for ages, for centuries. And in Portugal, we have gone through the same, where like me being one of an obvious descendant of that, So, and also let me point this out because this is also important. There's racism, like really bad racism, in the social forces of police and such in this country, Portugal, Europe as well. It's not something exclusive from the United States. Just that the expression of it probably is worst in the United States since it's more particular. But we also have more alike episodes, not the exact same episode, but pretty much in its essence, pretty much the same, like this violence and killing and from the police forces, specific police people, individual people or groups even, against black people in here, African descendant people as well. So it's nothing exclusive, guys, but the thing is, I don't know if you know, but if you don't know, you get to know something new, learn something culturally speaking, which is also important as well. It's very important because that's the bottom of my message here is we're all one and the same in a way, and we're all connected, And when we are way too close on our own reality and culture, that's not a good thing. And that's something I got sort of aware from the North American culture, is that you are way too close. Many of you, I'm not saying everyone or most of you, but many of you for sure don't know much about the rest of the world because you have this patriotic thing about your culture that we Portuguese don't have about our country, and we don't identify with. Of course, there are nationalist people here as well. There are like, the equivalent to republicanism there we have that, nationalists and all that bad stuff, extreme stuff, because everything that is extreme by nature, by metaphysical essence, is unbalanced and generates all these extreme responses, social responses. We have that, but most of us are not that nationalists at all. We don't have this military thing going on, military and the service and the hymn and the flag. Yes, we chant the hymn as well in specific occasions and holidays like national holidays, but it's not, to my eyes, to what I know of, to I get aware of, to what comes from me through many means, different means, media. It's not as expressive at all as it is in the United States. So, yeah, what I know of though, is that we share the same basis of the slavery. And yes, we, as you know, if you don't know, as I was saying a minute ago, now you'll get to know, Portuguese discovered a lot of nations back then in the 16th, I believe, century, through sea. Yeah. So, and we made slaves out of African people as well. That's why I'm mixed, And yeah, so that is the real basis. The basis is not, the thing is not that all of that is going on the United States just a few decades, not even decades, but yeah, all these racist expressions have been going on for a long time now. You had you had since Martin Luther King, and before, even prior to that. These are just different expressions, because I actually saw some documentaries on your culture, on North American culture, and culture in terms of the historical racist part, And I know what happened, all these killings and genocides, and within the black community, it's going on since decades. This is just a new expression, more recent expression of one same root, of one same evil root, which is this shadow, collective dark, this shadow of consciousness, which is based on fear and whatnot, and karmic reasons, and very complicated stuff that I'm not going to talk about right now, because it's just another different subject and it has many parts to it, many subconscious parts, but which is slavery. And I don't know, things don't change. I believe that racism, some form of racism and discrimination and prejudice in general, not just ethnically speaking, but in general, will always be around. But because there are very, dark things like lobbies and governments and other stuff going on behind all that. But my message really, what I really want to pass is that the way I see all this, and I'm very sorry that is going on, and the way I see it, I saw the video, like I was saying, of that killing of that citizen, black citizen, and there is in no way, any way, shape or form, anything that justifies killing a person like that. And I heard that the police guy was going to be convicted by involuntary homicide, something like that, and it's just that, for me, is just pure hypocrisy. It is nothing else, just pure hypocrisy, because that's not involuntary. Unless you are completely stupid and unconscious and, I don't know, dumb, it can't be involuntary. You know that you're going to kill someone, or at least you're harming the person in a sort of a reversible manner. So, but anyway, I don't want to even go there. The thing is, I truly believe, because I believe I said that in the beginning of this video, that I was reading that blog, that article on Teal Swan on this, and she's completely right. The bottom line of her message, it's the same message I stand by, which is this whole has to stop, and the way to go about stopping all this, it's not that it's easy, but it's simple. The thing is, and this can be very complicated to accept or understand in the core of your being. And that's why I started the video by saying, I know I'm not there, I'm not a black American, I'm a mixed Portuguese woman, but truly in my heart and all my knowledge and culture and all these years in spirituality or in metaphysics, which I prefer to call it metaphysics, because for me it's something very logical and scientifically based, really. It's not something that, it's exoterical and hippie and any of that. And then I'm not on your shoes, but also you're not on my shoes, but we're all the same. We're all in the same shoes somehow, because I understand you, that's why I did all this disclaimer behind that. This goes on here as well, and you have to be the change you want to see in the world. This is the message I'm trying to pass, and I believe this is a very true one, very important one. I'm not in any way, shape or form defending that police guy or police guys. That's it. I just said that that's just the most hideous and inhuman way to treat a person, despite, it doesn't matter what the person did. And that's another paradigm, for law enforcements and how our governments in general, same here in Portugal and all over the world, the way how our governments deal with all of that, it's just one big shadow, one big old paradigm of power in like subjugating someone. That's all it is about. And I don't know, you guys in North America probably have this huge shadow on conquering and Native Americans, now black people, and all this huge shadow of fear and disconnection within one another. Like you're not part of the same human family. It's like you're not even, some of you are better, it's like this domination shadow over and over again. This has to dominate this part of the society. This is the dominant part of this, has to get subjugated, and but at the same time you have to understand this. Those forces, law forces, are also puppets and are also victims on the hands of something bigger that is behind him. And I'm sure you know more or less what I'm talking about. And I'm not even talking about Donald Trump, because he's been here for very few. Yeah, it's something, again, you have to remember history and go way further. And yeah, but the thing is, why is still these things going on? This unconscious, this shadow always popping out in different forms. That's what it truly is about. You have to think about it. We won't change any of this if we keep on acting the same way as we are. And I'm not talking about because how can I change the system, really? It's I see how you guys are trying to deal with it, like going on the streets and doing all these acts of vandalism because you're angry, and I understand that there's rebellious actions, but just understand this: that is what always has been done. It's those rebellion acts for these law enforcements or law forces and the government and the higher powers in general of people doing these acts, being racist and killing black citizens and this and that going on, and people just reacting to that, but it still keeps going on. That's what I'm trying to say. It never changes, right? It never changes. So maybe it's time to go about thinking differently and integrating the shadow. Not just, okay, you are the evil guys, we have to fight you. You won't be able to. You don't fight anyone. That's a myth. That's an illusion, because whatever you focus upon, you attract more of it. So the way you've been dealing with this, I know you feel like absolutely disempowered, absolutely disempowered, and you don't know how to deal with it. So that's why you go to the streets, because that's your only weapon. You think that's the only way you can express yourselves and sort of get rebel about it. But you really don't go about changing anything bad going on a very, very deep wounded, subconscious and dark and shadowed level of a dark consciousness, of a subconscious of fear and hate like that. You don't change like big shadows and big unconscious, subconscious behaviors on society, on something big as that, like that. You really don't change. You just perpetuate the things, because you can't go, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to kill every police guy? See how nuts it is if you think about it for a second. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to the streets all day, every day, and risk my life and be a hero or a martyr? Really? That's whole consciousness, whole energy stuff. Or try to kill, or try to, maybe arrange ourselves like as a terrorist, arrange group of terrorists. That's what I mean, like soldiers or whatever, and try to... And that's just more and more destruction. You know what I mean? That's just more and more violence. It doesn't matter, because you're just the same part of the same problem. You're not that different from that police guy. If you go on the streets and do this, even if you don't kill a person like that in such a sordid manner, but if you go about destroying building, destroying this, and or saying the, or just the energy behind it. It's not the action, it's the energy, it's the intention behind it. It's the energy of being angry against something. It's just what's active within your vibration. That's what you're vibrating at as, and you attract more of it, and it never changes. The thing is, I believe it's time for us as humanity in 2020, after 2020 years, to finally evolve in consciousness and more united consciousness. I'm not saying that it is for you to forget about all that or forget, but yeah, sort of forgiving, really forgive. Yeah, forgiveness is part of it. You have to forgive your own selves, the shame of being black, because part of it is just your own shame of collective shame of, yeah, we're flawed in some way, we're not accepted. Because we're not accepted, we already carry that stigma, and that's energetic. That's what I'm trying to say. That's vibrationally, that's energetic. You don't see it immediately, you just vibrate like that, you feel like that, but in time that translates through actions. And of course there's more to it. Like I said, there's this entire evil agenda behind all these governments, and I could go on conspirational theories. I don't want to go there, but of course it's part of it. It's part of it as well. There's this very dark agenda behind it all, these massive groups that rule the world, society, and in particular your North American society, the government, and what I mean, all those groups that rule the country, and not just the country, but maybe paired with other nations, powerful nations in the world, other empires, evil empires really. But the thing is, the way to go about finishing this for good is really, really, really being the change you want to see in the world. Becoming the change you want to see in the world is like opening up for embracing that shadow, because you don't fight the shadow, you don't fight the hate with hate. You just don't fight hate with hate. You don't fight hate with angry reactions, even if you think you're right. That's what I'm trying to say. It's about time to make this shift in paradigm, this shift in consciousness, make this paradigm shift and the shift in consciousness, and accepting that it's not, I'm not saying apologize, making an excuse like it is okay in any way. That's not what I'm saying, but this all just has to stop. It's time for this entire thing of violence to stop. And violence starts by ending. It starts with each one of us changing our reaction to it. We just can't keep on reacting to it. Reacting to it is empowering it. You people, you really do have to understand this. I'm really with you. I'm not against you at all. I'm totally with you, but I'm with you on a more deep level and manner that you can. I hope you do understand, but maybe when you're vibrating in anger and sorrow, you won't get this message. But if you can just go into yourself, your heart, and connecting to the hurt within the anger, the really thing that is making you react to those acts, and understand that, okay, I'm just really angry that I'm still being treated, my people is still being treated like this, that there's still this shadow, there's still this disunion, there's still this lack of humanity, lack of united consciousness. The way you fight all that is you connect to your sorrow, you connect to your own feelings, you connect to your own grief, you connect to your own hurt. You really have to do that shift in yourselves. You have to be the change. You have to open your heart. You won't change any policeman, any corporation, anything behind all that hearts if you don't change yours first. I'm not saying go there and kiss them and and cuddle them. I'm not saying that, but it starts vibrational. You really have to change. It won't change anything. And I don't know how you guys don't see that, because you go on the streets and do this and burn things and do that. And whatever, it doesn't change anything. Plus, you don't have the power. You don't, even if you had the power, you don't change things through force and through violence and through rebellion and through angriness. You just don't change things. So that's my message. I hope you guys get the bottom line of my message, that it's not just this hippie thing about love, peace, and everything will be okay. It's a shift in energy, in vibration on your frequency. It's like vibrating and living like that on a daily basis. It's changing things. I don't pay attention to bad things. I live in a way that I only pay attention to good things. I know bad things are there. It's not that I'm trying to ignore and be in this happy place. It has nothing to do with that. This is a very concrete thing. This is a very real thing. This metaphysical thing of energy and vibration, and magnetism and emanating, all of that. It's very real. And you need to be the change you want to see in the world. And it starts by embracing that shadow. It starts by changing your own behavior, changing your own self-consciousness about yourself. Stop being victims. That's how it changes. That's how it starts, and that's how the world changes. So I hope you really get this message, guys, and I hope the best for you. And my prayers and my heart goes to you. Yeah. Take care.